Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic.
And we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then, do it for your children.
Black book is in black.
Black
book.
men talk, black book. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. Host and produce over 6,000 online conversations and growing, and also I host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And I'm speaking that in the next few weeks, I hope to tell you it's gone to 500,000. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And this has been a while. Since last year, we've done a live Black Men Can Talk. Yeah, happy 2026, because I treat a new year every day, but I just say happy 2026 to
Happy 2026.
Kofi Sadat and Kofi Morris. What's going on, gentlemen?
Well, we're well. I am well, family. It's good to be back. I always say it's kind of bittersweet. I've been away in a hotter place. I'm adjusting to this thing that you guys call winter, but I'm okay. And I want to welcome everybody back on behalf of the Black Men Can Talk family. You've been missed, so we're good. We're glad to get into it today. Brother Kofi, how you doing?
Peace, and blessings, family. You know what it is? 2026 in the mix. I'm still waiting for all the rhymes and the lyrics. All the 2K20. I'm waiting for the lingo. You know what I'm saying, for what the 2026 is. But I'm definitely thankful. For another rotation around the sun to continue doing amazing work on behalf of the community, and being a provocative and positive voice, for Black men in this country. So I'm thankful to be here in this space. Big up yourself, Dr. Vibe. Big up yourself, Paul. You know what it is. The journey continues.
That's it.
Never ending. So since we last saw each other, what's a win that you'd like to share with the family?
Ooh. Well, you know what? My big win today, it's actually my father's birthday. So
whoa, happy birthday. Happy Earth Strong, Daddy.
There you go. So daddy, happy Earth Strong, and I'm giving thanks for more years of life, more energy, and kind of, being that mentor, in my life, and definitely that's footsteps I can walk into. So I'm giving thanks for that, and that's my big win. I'm just happy to be around to see him celebrate his day. And he's down south right now with the rest of the family, so I want to hail him up. But yeah, that's my win, definitely.
Before we bring over to Brother Kofi, Paul, what is it like to still have your father on this side of the earth?
It's an interesting piece, because it's kind of like, having both children and having my father here, is that so many things that, we joke about it, but so many things that I see in myself, things I'm saying, ways that I've walked, I'm more noticing it that, I'm getting it from him. Right. So to have that in the life, just to see kind of some, ways that you are, your reflection in the pond, I mean, it's really appreciative to be in that stage of life. So I do appreciate it. And of course, he's, great grandfather to my children, and to other children as well, but just to my children. So to see that relationship, and I will say this, that I never had a living grandfather when I was coming up. So to see that relationship, is it's very nice to see that. Right. So, and I think they're, not lucky, but, it's an honorable kind of thing. So yeah, it's great to have, my father in my life. He's a joke. You know what I mean? He was serious, but he's definitely, I get my sense of humor from him for sure. So I love it.
Thank you for sharing it. Nothing like hailing our ancestors, especially while they're living.
Yes, there you go.
Very, very important. Kofi Morris, long time. Happy 2026. How is your holiday season treating you? And share us a win.
100%. No, man, it's beautiful, man. Definitely a different year. Every year, of course, has its uniqueness. But I think this year I had some, various different reflections. I think we had some cold days during the Kwanzaa, like some ice, frozen black ice, caught in ditch type situations happening. Relative to Kwanzaa experience. So it was slightly different. We were frozen out, but we made it happen. So I was able to make some great connections. Are you hearing me good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just heard some sounds there. So yeah, so definitely that was blessed. It was good to connect in community, to connect with the family, break some bread, Definitely the next generations has to start to kind of step up relative to these holiday dinners and stuff like that. So that's the passing of the baton that's happening. And in terms of wins, I think from a health perspective is one of the things that have been pretty significant, just in terms of getting some great gains in that space, and just the consistency, of the physical exercise, being able to reach certain, limits or bypass certain limits that I previously had. And it could be as simple as flexibility to just energy levels, right? And lastly, I'll add to that in terms of visioning and the mapping out of this year. Able to accomplish some of that is just, which is ties into tonight's topic, right? Just being able to have that opportunity to, lock in, you know what I mean, as our young people say, and just being able to get things done internally so that the year can, at least the vision can align with the energy of the year and what's to come. So how about yourself, Dr. Vibe? How about yourself?
There's always so many wins because I look for the little wins. I don't, if the big ones, if they come along, that's great. But what I've had over the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 different men come and confide in me, and all in different areas. Even up to before the show today, I had a good conversation, and this gentleman said, I mentioned to him that there's, reports out there that there's a male loneliness epidemic. And he said, you know what? I'm one of those men that's lonely. And I've known him for a long time. He said, let me straight up, because yeah, I feel lonely a lot of times. And just, it seems that the path is going deeper and deeper for me to be in safe embrace spaces, to have conversations with men where they share their highs, their lows. It's just been even more reflection coming than normal or than that I'm used to. And the things that I'm sharing, I always say, hey, I always tell the gentleman, when we talk, they're vault conversations. And if people will know, what do you mean by that? And I say, the conversations stay locked in the vault, and the only people that can unlock them is either myself or the person that's having them. So just having more and more vault conversations, especially with Black men, in the same conversation, hugging, Black men hugging each other. A hug can do a lot. You don't know what brother's going through. And just to have that hug, it's a small thing, but a lot of times it's a big thing.
I agree 100%. And that's a great win, right? Just that reconnection and people being able to read your spirit, to know that it's open, even when they want to, and it's safe, right? Even when they want to share things that might be heavy. So that's a great win.
Right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have a new friend to myself and Sadat on the show. Kofi seems to know the gentleman best. So we're after come back, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping, and then he's going to do the introductions. And we're going to have a great conversation about visioning for Black men in 2026 and making your goals believable and achievable. It's one thing to believe. Let's see if we can achieve. So we'll be back. Really quick break, 15 seconds, and we'll be right back.
Check out Primetime Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern with Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lalaki, where they try to make sense of the nonsense going on in American politics and culture.
All right, we're back on Black Men Can talk. And let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So first things first, let me just do this here. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, if you got a question or a take, go to any digital device that has a website on it. Go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. Then fill out the next screen and join the conversation, and we'll be ready to go. And we lost Kofi for a second, so we're just going to we have a new friend coming up today. And Jonathan is, I didn't know about him, but I'm glad I know about him now. Because Jonathan Boxill is a former hypnotist. He's a hypnotist, former therapist, and author. And he helps people who have been taken off course by life to get the clarity and stability needed so they can move forward into their next chapter with confidence and inner mastery. I like that. Confidence and inner mastery. So, Jonathan, let's confidently bring you on. Make sure you unmute yourself and let's bring you to the show. There we go.
Can you hear me?
You're with us. 100%.
All right. Technology works.
You're right here, right now. Right here, right now.
Thank you, brothers, for bringing me on. Appreciate it.
How's your day today?
You know, my day was busy. You know, I'm a father, I'm a husband, 2 kids, and I'm like, before I come on, I'm gonna be zen. I'm gonna, do my meditation. Yeah, out the window. Out the window. I'm helping my daughter with homework. My wife needed me for something, and then I'm running in. I'm like, well, these brothers can understand, so I'm here, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Most definitely. I totally hear your family. Sometimes we plan these things, but other things are there that basically intercept the mission, but in a beautiful way. So it's good to know you're there for your children, you're there for your wife. Welcome to a regular day at Black Man Camp.
Just another day.
Just a regular day.
Just another day. Just another day.
That's it.
Who wants to start off with conversation pieces? I have if you want, but
so no, I'll hop in there. What I'm saying? I'll hop in there. Blessed to see you, brother. You know what it is. We connect in these digital spaces. It's a blessing to reconnect once again. The work continues. I always say that, and Jonathan may not know this. Connecting in the social service sector, where there's a lot of need, is one of the places that I met Jonathan, and from that point of connecting with him and the work that we were doing, you could call it deep in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? Of social work, it was always like a light when he would come into the space and the work that we were doing, because of the tools that he brought, yes, and because of his wisdom and expertise, but his energy, which you'll pick up on, of course, in tonight's interview. But it was always a positive thing, and I think a part of it too even ties into his intro today, is because he's doing the internal work, right? And a part of that work sometimes is being a father, is being a partner, etc. And he's real in those spaces, and he shows up real in the space of in the work that we're talking about tonight. So, I just want to intro our brother with some good energy, positive light, and peace, and that as he brings that light to the space, and looking forward to to a powerful conversation tonight.
Appreciate that, Kofi. That means a lot. And same to you. I've known Kofi for years, and I can say one thing: he's dedicated and true to his mission and to supporting Black men. And he's been an inspiration for me and Paul. We go back as well. You invited me to your space, and that was generous of you, and I appreciate that. So it's always good to connect and see everybody looking healthy and strong and still in the fight, because man, it's been a fight. I mean, after COVID, after everything. So
yeah.
Okay.
We're still here. We're giving thanks for that.
Shout out from Black Nerd Can Talk. Black Nerd Talks is in the house. Salute and good evening. Right back to you, my brother. Okay, I'm going to kick it off for you, Jonathan. When you hear 2026 visioning for Black men, what does that phrase mean to you personally?
To me personally, was about updating my inner image, my self-image. So who am I in 2026? Not what I want to achieve, not what I mean, that's all important, but who am I? Because who am I, that stance alone, that foundation, myself, my identity is a blueprint for your subconscious mind. It's what it takes in. It's like you've got an inner screen, you've got a script, and that identity of who you are, what you think you deserve, what you are capable of is all tied into that. And so updating your inner image, not what you were told when you were a child, not what society tells you about who you are, but who you right now in 2026 decide who are you, and updating that image to match the alignment of, for me anyway, spiritually, of what the highest power sees in me, you know, and trying to do my best to align that image and knock off any limiting beliefs or actions that are interfering, you know, those illusions, those masks that we wear that tell us that we can't do this, or we're not good enough, or whatever nonsense comes up. So this is what I do with my clients, and this is what I do really for myself on a day-to-day basis, which is developing that inner image so that I can be a reflection to others and inspire others.
Okay.
Shay, thank you much.
Wants to follow up with that. If not, you know, Dr. Vibe has lots of conversation pieces, but it's not about me.
I'm gonna pass it to the heavy hitter, Kofi. Kofi, go ahead.
It's huge. I mean, like, just think of it, right? Some things like, you know, that was mentioned, right? Blueprint for the mind, right? Our inner image, like some of these things, that the masks that we wear, like there's actually a documentary, you know, speaking about this, that we often kind of explore with Black men and young men and stuff like that. Just acknowledging the importance. I think as soon as Jonathan started to speak, it's that voice that comes out of him that is the true reflection of self, and being able to put up a mirror to ourselves. And I think that's something that he's amazing at. I guess the question that comes to mind sometimes is, what challenges us to look at ourselves? Like we grew up with ourselves from the first time we were introduced to a mirror, you know, we were told this is who you are, right? So why is it challenging? Why would that be a challenge sometimes, just for us to see who we are, and to actually look at ourselves?
Yeah. You want me to take this?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's an excellent question. And I partner with another agency in the States called Safe Haven, and it's for Black men. And so Black men, they refer them to me. And there's this common theme where Black men just don't have a space. That's why what you brothers are doing is so powerful and so courageous and so needed, because a lot of brothers are, as you know, just suffering in silence. They're carrying the whole weight on their shoulders, and they have nobody to talk to because they're holding up a front, holding up a mask, like everything's all right, or I just got to push through, I'm on the grind, you know. And that works until it doesn't. That works until something comes and it hits them, and the pressure comes, and they, you know, something major happens in their life. So to me, the biggest challenge is being courageous enough to look at ourselves and being honest, and putting that down, that myth that, you know what, I can do this on my own, I don't need anybody, or it's fine, I'm okay, I just got to push through. That's one of the biggest challenges, is developing that self-awareness, that compassion of self, and saying, you know what, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel sometimes like I can't do this. It's okay. It's all right to feel like that. That's when the work can begin. Right. And so for me, that's the biggest challenge for brothers that I see that come to me is, you know, they don't have anywhere to turn to where they can drop the mask and be themselves and be vulnerable and still not be judged for it and not be alienated for it. So we can just, that's why what you're doing, like putting this message out and normalizing that for the fam out there is big. You never know who's watching you, brothers. You never know who in silence is needing what you guys are doing. And I can just tell you from the brothers that get referred to me, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40, all ranges of brothers that, you know, from ranges of careers, as soon as they come in front of the camera, in 5 minutes, they're breaking down. And it's, so I know it's a thing where I feel like we used to have these spaces where we could collect and gather and debrief. And that was our therapy. You know, we didn't really need therapy because we had, you know, in the Caribbean, we used to lime on the block, right? And and with the brothers of different ages.
Yeah.
And that was so healing. And we're so isolated now, that's been taken away from us. And I feel if we had those spaces more, a lot of amazing things would be happening with brothers.
Shay. Agreed.
Yeah, Black Nerd Talk says there's an anime which explores what it means to be true to your being and to be unapologetic about it. Like that. Conversation piece for you, Jonathan. What are you seeing right now among Black men when it comes to setting goals and actually believing that they can reach them?
Great. Yeah, man. Great question. So again, it is the stories running in their head from childhood, from their parents, from that one time they tried to hit that shot and they missed, and it's just replaying in their head like a loop. So our nervous system, as science now they know now, our nervous system thrives off safety, right? The subconscious, one of its prime directives is to keep us safe. And doing things outside our comfort zone is like a threat, right? And so when you're visioning a new future, apart from what's comfortable from you, your nervous system is going to reject that. It's going to see that as a threat, even if it's something that's good for you. So somebody wants to quit smoking consciously, but their nervous system is holding on to that because that smoking helps them relieve stress. It's you know, it's going to tell them, no, you're not, right? Someone wants to lose weight, you know, they're eating for a sense of whatever it's doing to help them feel a sense of safety. Their mind's going to be like, no, it's going to reject that. So for Black men, what is important is installing within their mind a sense of safety, a sense of certainty, and support. And there are various practices that help you do that. And I found that helps people to expand their vision, right? Having that grounding, because you can have this big dream. And a good exercise is to imagine a sum of money, because money's such an emotional thing. Imagine a sum of money. Imagine doubling that money and feel in your body. Does your body tighten up? Your body's telling you, I don't believe that, or that's scary. It's overwhelming. How am I going to handle that? And so tuning into the body, I know Kofi does a lot of work around that and has been doing a lot of work around that for years. And now that's coming into the forefront is really important. So practices that tune you to your body and bringing exercises of comfort and safety into your body can help form the foundation to visualize a new future. So your future feels safe, right? And you mentioned something, Doc, you mentioned something brilliant when you said small wins. Man, they've shown that tracking small wins actually can help boost testosterone. You know, so yeah, and that would counter the negative perceptions or feelings or thoughts that we would get. So tracking your small wins, creating that sense of safety, support in your body. I got a quick story, if I can.
Go ahead.
Absolutely, brother.
So years ago, I never believed in marriage. Never. My boy would ask me, and I'm like, nah, I ain't getting married. And I don't know why I said that. I have no idea. Lo and behold, I was living out in Edmonton for a while, and then I had to stay by a distant family. So I'm staying by their house, and their family was like the perfect, like 80s Cosby Show. right? You know, mom and dad hugging, kids playing, and I never saw that, and I never saw that growing up. So to me, I was like, what is going on? It threw me for a loop. It changed my blueprint of marriage. When I left there, I was there for 2 weeks. I said to myself, I want this. I want to get married. It felt safe. It felt something real. It felt tangible. A month later, I met my wife again, and we've been together 15 years. So I know, like, to me, the higher power put me in that place for me to break that belief. That's what I believe, right? I had to see it, because growing up, my blueprint was I never saw happy marriages. I saw dysfunction. Like around me, even back home in the Caribbean, I barely saw dads around in the 80s. It's mainly the women, right? So I didn't believe in it unconsciously. So I had to see it, and I had to see it as a safe thing, not a thing that was arguing and fighting or dysfunction, but safe. And then immediately, boom, I
think the audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
To brothers out there that are struggling to believe in their vision, the brain can change at any time. We know brain plasticity, the brain can change. The body heals itself. So your beliefs are there to convince you that you can't change, that it's not possible. That's its job. Its job is to protect you in your comfort zone. But I'm here to tell you that you can, right? We know through science that you can shift it. And if you start working with your system, bringing safety in there, bringing support in there, and gently shifting your beliefs, like we mentioned, by updating your self-image, you can allow for a greater vision and unfold your purpose. Right? You've got to unfold your purpose by allowing a greater vision. And in order to allow a greater vision, you've got to build safety and support for that vision within you. That makes sense.
Loving it, loving it, loving it. Learning so much. I'm going to kind of not flip the script, but I'll introduce this and get you to explain a little bit more. It says that you're a hypnotist. How does hypnotism, how does that play a role in the work that you do and how you approach it?
You know what's crazy? I was just gonna talk about that. You're like reading my mind. I was like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think you are. Right. So, first of all, hypnosis. Listen, you know, people get spooked out. Hypnosis is African, right? The original. When I first learned it, they said that it was created in Egypt in the temples, and then it moved to Greece, and then from there, then 1600s or 1700s, the Europeans reinvented it, reworked it, right? But you know, there's a long science of us knowing how to work with our mind and our spirit through symbols, through imagery, through dance, through music, through many different ways. So, you know, I don't want people when they hear that to get scared. It's your science. It's your science, and you know, knowing thyself to me is that's my juice in life. We know everything, we're taught everything, but about our own mind, we don't know how our own mind works, right? So that being said, hypnosis or hypnotism, it's very simple. It's really about belief and expectation. That's simple. So they know that the nervous system predicts things. So an example, all men are cheaters. So a woman believes that, she's going to predict that she gets with a man, he's going to cheat. She's looking at his phone, waiting for him to cheat, expecting him to cheat, questioning. So when he doesn't cheat, something happens in the brain where there's an error. It's called a prediction error. At that point is how you reprogram yourself, because it's expecting all men to be cheaters. But that one experience creates an update in the system and says, no, men can be trusted. You see how this works? Now, it's not going to work exactly like that. So what I do is I just change the loop that's running in their nervous system. I interrupt the pattern. We call it a pattern interrupt. That's it. I just track what's the pattern that's running. Oh, public speaking. When they're in front of people, they freeze. Okay, that's the pattern. I just come in. How do you want to feel? Well, I want to feel cool and relaxed in front of people. I run that loop through repetition and through trance. We run it, we test it, we fire the trigger. They go out into the world. All of a sudden, their nervous system does it automatically.
That's deep.
Right? So, like, geez, getting excited there.
Nothing wrong. Get excited. We want excited. We don't want you bored.
I just don't want. I just don't want my phone to fall.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Sounds good, bro.
Just some more comments here. Black Nerd Talk says, I often ask young men I mentor if what they're doing in terms of poor coping strategies is sustainable for them, especially 20, 30 years from now. Pardon me, as we don't think about living long lives. He also says, Jonathan is cooking. And says, speaking into existence, and symbol like one says, greetings, family.
Symbolic.
All right. I got another conversation piece for you, Jonathan. We probably need to have you back because a lot of your wisdom and valued experience would be helpful to Black men and those that love them. Let me ask, what are some of the common subconscious scripts many Black men carry about success, masculinity, or vulnerability that quietly sabotage their goals?
Yo, this is crazy. I'm going to show you my notes, and this is the stuff I wanted to talk about. What is going on between Kofi, Paul, and you? You guys are on some natural mystic. This is exactly what I was going to talk about next. So thank you.
Alignment.
Alignment. Yeah. Okay. So some of the scripts they're running, bro, I'm going to sum it up to one thing. They just don't believe in themselves. And I'm not going to put myself out of that. I'm going to be honest with you. That's something I struggled with. Right. So I know, we're so hard on ourselves and we have so much pressure on ourselves. And it's amazing to see how we're able to be so resilient and to overcome things. It's just amazing. But the lack of belief in themselves and what this hypnosis taught me and how the nervous system runs. When I say this to you, you're going to be like, I get it. What Black men need is exactly how the nervous system runs. And it's just one word, certainty. Just being certain in who you are, right? Moving through the world, knowing you already belong. It's yours. Moving through the world, expecting to have the best. Being certain in your ability to do things. I've met certain brothers with that power, and I've seen how they were nurtured and programmed throughout their life, why they have that, right? I have to do the work to develop that in me, you know what I'm saying? But it's a natural state. The nervous system relaxes and feels safe under certainty. It's like a woman. Women, and I know if there's women watching, listen, I'm married 15 years, so I'm going to keep it real. This is what I've seen.
All right.
Like, especially the most educated women or aggressive women, they generally say they still want a man to take charge and lead. They especially in the bedroom. The worst thing to say to a woman is, what do you like? They want a man that is self-assured, that is certain. Even though we make mistakes or whatever, it's like nothing. So that developing that certainty in who you are, developing that certainty creates safety within the body, within people around you. It's a powerful thing that we need. And we had. How are we able to build all these cultures around the world if we didn't have that? And at one time, there's one thing I want to say. We used to invent. We used to be inventors. Now, imagine if that was taught in school, like a course on nurturing that inventive spirit in you. You know, in grade school or high school, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like to invent, create. We are like master creators. So having that certainty in who you are and cultivating it, that knowing, walking in and knowing as if that room belongs to me and others as well, right? There's no doubt in who you are. Moving as if things have already working in your favor. That's why identity change is the most powerful, right? Working on your self-image. All your beliefs and your actions come out of your identity.
Can I hop in there, Jonathan, to add something?
Please.
And
Yeah.
it's something that I've heard you say a long time ago. In the back of my mind, I'm remembering this. We do this in some spaces in our music, in hip hop. You know, we do this. Some brothers do this on the block, in their crews, in their, they show up as who they call themselves something, right? Like the rappers that used to Grandmaster A, B, C, and D,
Yeah.
right? We give ourselves these names, right, to embody Grand Wizard, you know what I mean? Like we would give. Is that kind of what you're talking about too? Is that kind of what an example of what that is?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're so right with that. That we were projecting. That's the beauty of our music and our culture is we always projected ourselves bigger than who we were, bigger than our conditions, right? And then it's no coincidence why it then conquers the world, right? And they, to some degree, become that character, right? Right? Like Muhammad Ali, I'm the greatest. He used that mantra, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. So then you step in the ring, you think he is the greatest now. He's already in your mind. It's like, boy, yeah, like it's, you see the energy, it's already done. The fight is over. That's the certainty I'm talking about of moving through the world like that. Mike Tyson had that with his eyes. Like you see his eyes in the beginning of a fight.
Yeah.
He's like, he's looking through the guy, like he knows, yeah, this is over. And then, the guy's going like this, and Tyson's just like this, just waiting. Just, So he knows in his every ounce of him that he's so certain in his power that this fight is over. This is who I am. Funny enough, his trainer, I forgot the white guy's name. I forget his trainer, the one that died. Is
The custom
yeah,
model.
Customer.
yeah, yes. He would do hypnosis on him every day. He would before he went to sleep, he would give him mantras and visualizations, and he would say, just everything fades to black, and the only thing that matters is that goal, and it's already done. It's already done. So when he comes in that ring, it's already done. It's in every fiber of his cell. It's in his aura. That guy has no chance.
Got some more comments here. Look who's in the house. Sir Ryan Knight says, good to see everyone. Symbol Like One says, vital conversation. We've been programmed to doubt, undervalue, and submit in a world that perpetually deletes us to take ours. I'm understanding you saying we need to take control of our own program.
Yeah.
Write our own code. That's it.
There we go.
You know what I'm wondering about?
Say that. Hold on. Say what you just said again, Paul. Say that one more time. Say what you just said.
You know, once it's gone, that's it. We need to rewrite our own code. Rewrite our own code. You know what I'm wondering about, Jonathan, is I know we've been speaking about identity and, in a way, kind of individually how we, reprogram, rewrite that script. But I'm wondering about, is there any mechanism for a collective visioning? So getting together and to say as Black men, or say the four of us, is there a way to activate somewhere where we can have a collective visioning of what we want to be manifested, right? Because an individually successful Black man is one thing, but a collective success, I think, is another level. So I'm just wondering, is there any work around that or anything you've heard about maybe how we can kind of tap in and, you know, have a collective, you know, access or vision? Yeah.
Man, that's such a great question, and it has never been put to me before. This is the first time I'm even thinking about that. You opened my mind to a whole other reality. So I really have to sit with that. What I can say is the more of us that are on this path and can do that, when we get together, it's like that Napoleon book, right? When we get together, we form one mind, you know?
Yeah.
And then we can receive the vision, you know? Because every one of us, it's like a diamond. It's going to reflect different light. Every one of us is going to see a different perspective or get a different part of that vision.
Right.
So everyone's vital.
Right.
But if we are not in alignment, then the signal is not clear. That's how I see it. So if we are in some type of alignment and we can come together, then we can receive a vision that's bigger than any individual. Absolutely. That would be extremely powerful. Yeah.
Because I think
that's what our ancestors did.
Right. Well, I was going to say that. I believe that's the truth. Right. So, yeah.
I remember a story that you told Paul one time, which was when Round Nephra men first came, Shechem and Shechem first came to Toronto. You were moved by an experience, which was a collective visioning, visualization, meditation that took place.
Yes.
I remember that thing that you said, which I think is in alignment with the question that you asked, right? Is, you know, the fact that there have been people in this iteration of, you know, the speaking field, acting, historian field, etc., that actually use that tool. Now, 30, 40 years later, there's people that are still doing this work in their families, in their communities, as a result of some of those seeds that were planted how many years ago that have continued to be cultivated through the meditative space.
I agree. And in this conversation, like we said, you know, you mentioned, Jonathan, there's been some alignment, even with the questions, right, with what you perceived the conversation may be. But I think that the alignment's there, but I'm gonna kick it to Dr. Vibe, because I know he's got a million questions and perspectives.
I hope they're aligned. I hope they're aligned in Jonathan's book, because if they're not,
silent, we want to know what's bubbling underneath there. So go ahead, Dr. Vibe.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I want to ask, how can a Black man tell the difference between a goal that is truly too big right now and a goal that only feels impossible because of old programming?
Woo. Man, y'all just keep coming with it. Y'all keep coming with it. It's an expansive conversation. I love it. What I do with myself and what I do with others is examining your shadow, right? They call it your shadow work, right? So a good exercise that many people always promote, and I promote it, is to just list the characteristics of your old identity. Just list it, right? I used to believe this. I used to move like that. I doubted myself like this, or whatever. Just get a whole list and be totally honest with yourself. And you'll see an image or a character that was created that you thought was you. That character now would not be able to have certain visions and dreams. Just like me, the character I had before said I could never be married. Marriage doesn't work. You know, that everybody puts this nonsense out there now between this battle between men and women, right? And so when I stepped out of that character and I went into, well, who is Jonathan? Who do I really want to be? And I said, no, I'm the kind of person that has a happy marriage, has a wonderful woman in my life, has a family. And when I was able to compare both, I could see well, what was coming from my shadow and what was actually really coming from my authentic self. So you've got to do that investigative, introspective, honest work personally, and then you can see, and then you'll be able to catch yourself, which is the work. This is the work, right? So you could leave my office, but then now, all right, real life comes and that old program tries to show its head. You have to catch it. Oh, there I go again, believing this thing. Oh, there I go again into this old, that's not me anymore. Right? That's just the old program testing, you know, before it goes. So it's really important to do that shadow work so you can compare and contrast and see what is the old you, what is the new you, and how does the new you move? How does it feel in your body to be that new you? Literally, how does, you know, in that vision, what's your body? How do you move? You know, you move knowing. One quick thing I want to say is related to that is I wanted to mention that a lot of times, especially with Black men, it's this thing where, and masculinity, where Black men are like afraid to be powerful, man, like afraid to step in and be bold. And it's a stick. Pardon?
I said, come on now, you preaching now, come on now.
Bro, it's I see it, I get it. And it's like always asking for permission, right? And not certain. That sends a message to the subconscious that it sends uncertainty into the subconscious. So it's going to believe that you are uncertain and unsure of, and then not good enough. I'll give you a quick example. My boy told me about his friend who organized a protest years and years ago, and he was proud. He's like, "Yo, he organized a protest, and he got the permit, he came back, and they protested and all this stuff." And so I was like, "Well, congrats to him, but do you see what he just did? He went to ask permission to protest against the very people that he asked the people that he's protesting against for permission to protest against them." I said, "What? That's not cool." And I'm like, bro, I remember my uncles. I remember my dad, my uncles, these guys were like men, like unapologetic, right? I had a Filipino friend, and he came to roll with me one time, and he was around my dad and his uncle and my uncles and his friends, and they're big and they're loud, and he was scared. And I'm like, "What are you scared for?" He never saw that. I'm like, "No, bro, they're just joking. This is how they are. This is how they operate. This is normal. This is testosterone. This is masculine energy." But this was new to him. And so my point is, I don't know if we've been socialized. I don't know if it's the weed. I don't know if it's if it's everything, but it's just asking for permission, not nonsense, being uncertain, being afraid to take charge, being afraid to speak out and be you and be who you are. That's what I see with a major issue with Black men right now.
Wow. Yeah, we got to have a part 2, brother. This is definitely going to be a part 2 conversation, because I think there's so much that you just unpacked there around our fear, and where does that come from? And, what were the messages we got all along around that? Because again, as a father, my wife and I often joke about this, is that, there's something called the daddy voice. Right. and you all the fathers here are laughing when they know the daddy voice, right? Like when you speak a particular bass or energy, and it's like a different response from your children, right? My wife sometimes jokes about it. She jumps sometimes, right? Just out of response. But why I'm saying that, we laugh about it. Why I say that is often, we don't know about that power. We're not in tune with, or even comfortable with that, right? Because sometimes the reactions can be very negative around,
Right.
you know, when you sit up straight. It's like, why are
Right.
you sitting up straight? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Why are you raising that voice? I don't mean like shouting, but you know what I'm saying? Being assertive in yourself. So definitely I can see that challenge, but you know, I would love to kind of have a show where we're unpacking that a little bit more around the reasonings why we don't feel comfortable stepping into our power. Right. So definitely want to thank you for that insight. Brother
I can
Kofi.
politely jump in for a second before
Go
Kofi
ahead.
does. Just picked up on comments. Black Nerd Talk says Kofi said that Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's 18-point blackmail political agenda is a good start.
Okay.
Frequency event promotions is in the house. Happy New Year, 2026. Black men can talk. Is we probably goes. He goes. What I hear, Sadat starting a men's collective group with a guest speaker here. They got enough on their plate. We'll see about that. Shulik CISP, I know who that is, Mr. Mark Lewis. Good to have you in the house.
There you go. There you go.
Black Nerd can talk. Black Nerd Talk says these systems hate unapologetic, audacious black masculinity. Ibrahim Tohor.
Sorry.
Absolutely. And I've got a question out there for our audience. What is one old story about yourself you're ready to retire in 2026 so you can step into a new vision? So if you are willing, we'd like to have you share that in the comment section wherever you're watching this. Who's up next? You know, I can be up next.
Or Dr. Vibe, if you could throw out the phone connect just to if there's anyone that wants to call in.
Okay, let me just. And I know we're coming close to the end of our conversation, but I have another conversation piece, some suggestions from you, Jonathan. What would you say to a brother who feels tired, discouraged, or alone in the journey toward his 2026 goals?
Yeah. You know, that's a tough one right there. I feel the first thing is to just acknowledge that part of him and acknowledge that part of him needs something from him. There's a need there. And listening to that need, it could be, I just need rest, you know? It could be, I need to have fun again. And I don't know, I put everything down that used to, I don't DJ no more, or I used to paint, or I used to train, you know, and I stopped. So tap into that part, listen to it, find out what your need is, and you'll see that could be a powerful thing to help you believe in your dreams and move forward. That part can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I often ask black men, when was the last time you played?
Exactly.
they look at me going, what are you talking about? Play? Have fun? What do you mean? It's a foreign concept. But a lot of people have lost that aspect of play in their life because of responsibilities and all that. But those things, you find out so much and you grow so much when you play.
Yep.
I agree.
That's a thought.
Yeah, you know, I would even say I even go there like you know, I was away down south, Trump country, really down south recently. But one of the things I love is that I got together with my my nieces and nephews and all of them, and we just played all day. We just met in the backyard, and you know, they range from age. My nieces and nephews from, let's say, ages. Okay, let's say 16 to 40, and we just went outside and we played. Right, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, you're right. When was the last time I actually intentionally did that? But I think it's also important to show the younger generation, especially younger men and younger boys, that, you know, playing can be a good thing, right? Work, we show them work, right? We show them responsibility, but we got to show them the balance of play as well, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to share that as well.
So true, so true, so true. Tonight we covered a lot. I'm going to go into a fire round with Jonathan in a second, but we I'm just going to recap a couple of things. You know, we talked about what's hard to look at ourselves, and Jonathan spoke about the importance of being courageous. and acknowledging this whole piece of now of knowing that we're enough, and this whole thing about I can do it on my own. You know, that old belief system. Spoke about blueprints for the subconscious mind. We spoke about your inner image. We spoke about the masks that we wear. And I'm going to pull out one of the texts. You know, I'm gonna call it one of the scrolls.
Thank you.
Unleashing Mind Power. This is one of Jonathan's books that he released, so definitely can get at him. I'm sure you could still maybe get your back copy autographed or what have you. But acknowledging that which is within us as we pursue it, and we have the confidence and the faith in self, we can create these works, right, that come from this powerful mind that we have if we commit to it, right? We spoke about the shadow versus the self and how that ties in. We spoke about identity and an amazing, if you're getting the replay, an amazing activity that Jonathan gave us in regards to looking at listing the old identity pieces and actually pulling those things out. And I would definitely recommend connecting with this brother, because the work, the internal work, this is just the beginning. If this is something that speaks to you, tonight's conversation did something, it shook you, it challenged you, it allowed you to look at something differently, or at least to now look at things that you can make changes for visioning 2026. His contact information is all going to be shared at the end of the call, so you'll be able to connect to that. Spoke about the nervous system and the connections between that and that it thrives off of safety. So all of these things tie into our experiences. So I'm going to get into a fire round. I'm going to get you just to simply answer these questions, Jonathan. It could be with one word, it could be with one sentence, but they're very quick questions. So most people are stuck because
because of lies.
The mind goes off course when?
Oh, good one. When you're not aware.
Real clarity begins when?
Knowing yourself.
The biggest myth about hypnosis is?
That you'll be out of control.
Inner instability usually comes from?
Sorry, inner instability?
Yeah.
Oh, inner instability comes from just a lack of belief in self.
The moment someone regains power is when?
They're in love with themselves, with who they are.
Fear is actually a sign that?
They're off alignment with who they are. They bought into a thought.
And the fastest way to shift your inner state is?
By just reminding yourself of who you are.
And there's two options here you can go. People avoid their next chapter because, or true inner mastery requires?
Ooh, juicy. True inner mastery requires commitment.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was just right off the top, family. That was a subconscious mind programming freestyle session right there. So
Yeah,
that was dope. That was really nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Before we wind out,
Love
John,
it.
I want you to share your thoughts on this. How important is it for a Black man to give himself grace?
Oh, that is huge, man. That is probably I think that is one of the most healing things out there is grace, is just knowing that who you are right now is perfect. And there's a part of you that doesn't judge you, doesn't look down upon you, knows who you really are. And if you can rest more in that state and see yourself through those eyes more and more, then you can believe it, you know. And to me, that's grace, because truly, you know, we're just creative beings in a body, just having this experience, right?
Sure.
And I just want to say one quick thing is I forgot to say this, but it's in alignment to me. Black men, have a power and a uniqueness that the world needs, and power that we carry. We naturally dominate whatever we do, and we're the most creative in whatever we do. And I think tapping into that can help us get through whatever is happening, whatever nonsense is happening in the world. So we don't make the world a god. We don't make what they're doing so powerful. We don't give them power.
Right.
We see that, we dominate everything we do, everything we get into, everything.
Kofi said that. Kofi Morris, any final words?
Yeah, I just want to thank my brother Jonathan for coming through. It's been a while. It's been many years since we've connected, and I definitely need to get a personal reconnection with you. Plus, I believe we need to bring you back into the circle and to add to the wisdom. So I thank you very much for sharing that, and even starting off on the point of talking about being a dad, showing that it's a great reflection, and knowing that you're there with that. But I've learned a lot, and I'm humbled to learn more, and I'm glad we had this reconnection. And definitely, we look forward to the next conversations.
Kofi
Wonderful,
Morris,
right?
final words.
100%. You touch upon something in the end there as well. You spoke about the old you versus the new you. A lot of people like to say this new year, new me type of thing, but you've given a lot more depth to that question, and how one can actually explore what that can actually look like, right? So thank you so much, brother, once again. Always, saying salute on this journey of, supporting people's self-transformation, man, and just acknowledging that we have the ability within us. And I think that's one of the key things as well, to be naturally dominate. And I think it ties into the other part, is what you said. It's not giving our power away to all these externals. That could be news, media, all that stuff, and that could just be right within our homes, right within our street, right within our communities. Not giving into those external, giving our power away to those external entities. Thank you so much, brother. We're looking forward to bringing you back on and throw back to Dr. Vibe.
Thanks.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much, and appreciate you and all you have done, are doing, and will be doing to serve. And as always, you just want to say, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace, Black man.
Yes.
Give yourself grace. If you want to touch base with Jonathan, his LinkedIn is there on the screen. It's in the comments section on most of the platforms you're watching this live on the replay. If you want to get a hold of Mr. Kofi Sadat, email, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook is all there. Kofi Morris. The only person I know, one of the few people that has 2 Instagram handles. I don't know many people have 2. So you must be really VIP, man. So there's his email address, get well, stay fit. Also him on Facebook. And if you want to get in touch with me, toplink.cc/the DRVIBESHOW.com. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on, there we go, the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, and Paul's YouTube channel. So as we shut it down, we say this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. As always, make it better. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. Walk good.
Thank you.
Time that our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing. And they know
my dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'm saying, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these 2 brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book. You see?
Black
Black
book.
men talk, black book.